ท่านพระเถรานุเถระผู้บริหารคณาจารย์นิสิตฝ่ายบรรพชิตและผู้บริหารคณาจารย์นิสิตฝ่ายคฤหัสถ์รวมทั้งท่านผู้สนใจในศาสนาและปรัชญาทุกท่านเนื่องจากการประชุมสัมมนาวันนี้เป็นการประชุมสัมมนานานาชาติแล้วก็เรื่องปรัชญาตั้งหัวข้อเกี่ยวกับความดีความจริงและก็ความงามซึ่งมีรากฐานอยู่ในปรัชญาตะวันตกปรัชญาคริสต์แล้วก็ปรัชญาตะวันตกสมัยปัจจุบันเฉพาะเรื่องปรัชญาก็เป็นเรื่องที่ยากและไปเกี่ยวข้องกับปรัชญากรีกปรัชญาคริสต์ก็ทำให้ผู้ไม่มีพื้นฐานในเรื่องเหล่านี้ค่อนข้างจะยากในการติดตามเพราะฉะนั้นก็จะเกริ่นเป็นภาษาไทยนิดหน่อยก่อนว่าถึงแม้จะเข้าใจยากแต่ก็ให้ฟังในภาษาอังกฤษนี่แหละเพื่อให้รู้ว่าในโลกของปรัชญานั้นเขาคิดกันอย่างไรเขาพูดกันอย่างไรเป็น demonstration เป็นการสาธิตการพูดการสอนการบรรยายปรัชญาในภาษาอังกฤษให้เราอดทนที่จะตามฟังถ้าไม่เข้าใจก็เพราะว่าเราไม่มีแบ็กกราวด์พื้นฐานในปรัชญากรีกปรัชญาคริสต์และพยายามโยงเข้ามาหาพุทธปรัชญาของเราเพื่อให้ผู้มีพื้นฐานในทางพุทธปรัชญาได้ประยุกต์ใช้ได้จะเริ่มต้นด้วยการบรรยายเป็นภาษาอังกฤษเพราะว่าจะใช้เวลาส่วนใหญ่เป็นภาษาอังกฤษในช่วงท้ายถ้ามีเวลาก็จะสรุปเป็นภาษาไทยเพราะฉะนั้นต่อไปนี้ก็จะเริ่มการบรรยายเป็นภาษาอังกฤษต่อไป Good afternoon, everybody. I have started my discussion this afternoon by referring to the main theme of today's seminar, goodness, beauty, and truth. I arranged the sequence of the three words as truth, goodness, and beauty, as is normally practiced in the Western philosophy. If you start with goodness in the main theme, it is under the influence of Plato and Thomas Aquinas. This philosophical triad of truth, goodness, and beauty is rooted in Greek philosophy. As I will show you this picture. In Greek philosophy, which has Plato as the champion, he starts talking about the triad of truth, goodness, and beauty in his work, Dialogues of Plato. Starting with the form, the world of form. The highest form is the good, and the second The second stage is truth, beauty, and justice. Justice is moral goodness, but the highest form is the good. The good, at the highest form, is developed into the Creator God by Saint Augustine and Saint Thomas Aquinas in the scholastic philosophy, and become the famous triad: truth, good, and beauty. When we look into Plato's philosophy, truth not in this world, truth in the world of form. What is form? Form, starting from the difference between universals and particulars. When you look at a man, Mr. A, Mr. B, Mr. C, Mr. A, B, C represent particular things in the world, in the sensible world that we are living in. All men in this world are particulars. And when we look at them, we have a concept of man. Why we call these people men? Why we do not call monkey men? How can we differentiate men from monkeys or from cows or other animals? Because in our mind, there is the idea of men already inside our mind. It is a concept in a modern language. But what is this concept? This concept represents universal man. The idea of man resided in our mind. We compare the universal man in our mind with the particular men over there. Then we recognize men. So universals are the concept in our mind. Where the universal coming from? Not from our learning in this life. It comes from our past life. We learn about universal from the world of forms or the world of universal. That's why forms, not in this world, it is in the world of forms, are not created, forms are not created by our thinking. They are objective reality. Reside in the world of forms, separated from the world of sensible objects or the world of matter that we are living in here. So the ideal form of apple, only one. Apple, the perfect apple, is only one in the world of form. Whereas we can find many particular apples in this form are copies of the universal or form of apples in the world of form. So in this case, the world of form is real. They are objective truth. Truth for Plato is in the world of form. Whereas the world that we are living in, the world of matter, are representatives or copies of the original one, the world of forms. Truth is there in the world of form. How we learn about the truth of the world of form? From our past life. We live there and be born in this world with the innate idea of the form. That's why we can see, here, we can see the hierarchy. For example, the highest form is the good. And from the good you have the form of beauty in the world of form. The form of beauty. We have the innate idea of beauty from previous life. When we were born in this world, that innate idea still in our mind, we have the concept of beauty that represent the world, the form of beauty in the world of form. Once we have form of beauty as a concept in our mind, we compare the concept of beauty with particular or individual beautiful things in the world. Beautiful women, beautiful jars and flowers. You see, natural beautiful objects are one or two steps from the world of form, because it has to refer to the concept of beauty in the mind of men. And this beauty is a copy of the form of beauty in the world of form. So beautiful natural objects, people, are beautiful. We know them through the concept of beauty in our mind. If we created beautiful objects like painting, music, like this, objects of our creation, paintings, sculpture, are 2 or 3 steps far from the original, that is the form of beauty. So the value of beauty of the object of creation by men are far from the original one, beauty. So value of painting is less than natural object, according to Plato. So this is an imitation of beautiful entities. Why you have to imitate or take imitation when you can have a beautiful person? And beautiful person is not permanent, it change. It can become ugly. So unchangeable beauty is in the world of form. Unchangeableness is truth. The origin of everything particulars here reside in the transcendental world of form, truth. So separation, there is a separation between the world that we are living here, is world of particulars, objects, and the world of form. It transcends our eyes here, that is sense experience. We know by means of reason about our concept about the world of form. Separation between the two worlds is there in the philosophy of Plato. Disciple of Plato is Aristotle. Aristotle differs from Plato in he accept or he admits that there is form when we recognize that such and such being is human being is human being because we have the concept of man. Where is the origin of the concept? Plato said it's in the world of form. Aristotle say no. The concept of man is the reason of abstraction. When we see particular form, particular men here and there, we get the abstract idea of men. A universal man arises in our mind. It becomes the concept. It means that when we look at a man, we are not seeing just a man, but a form of man, a structure of man, a universal man inside that particular person. So form and matter living together in a particular things. Aristotle didn't accept Plato teaching a philosophy that form is in the world of form. Form is transcendent. No. Aristotle said form is there, exists, but already here in the world of particular. Form of man resides within a man, a particular man. So form and matter are together in this very world. So when you look at the apple, you see the material aspect of apple and the form of apple are together. They become, so you can see this picture, the famous one. On the left hand side is Plato. This is painting in 1509. On the right hand side is Aristotle. Plato just point to the sky. Point his finger to the sky. Whereas Aristotle point his finger to the ground. The gestures from Plato is that he tried to convince Aristotle that forms are up above there in the heaven, in the world of form, over there. Whereas Aristotle said, no, it's here in this very world, pointing his finger to the ground. So the teacher and disciple have different ideas regarding the forms. What Aristotle wants to explain is that forms are the causes of change in the world. For example, if we want to make a table, this is the table. The cause of making the table are fourfold. Number one is the material cause, the wood, the iron, etc. The material cause. The second cause is related to the form. The idea, the blueprint of creating a house and the design for the table are the formal cause of the table. So the carpenter idea is form, a formal cause. Whereas the carpenter is the efficient cause. He is the person who invests his effort to make a table with the design of form in his mind, and along with the material called the wood. For what purpose? To fulfill the vision of the table in his mind. Vision of table is the final cause. The completeness of table we call actuality of a table. When it is in stage of material cause, that is wood in the forest, it is in stage of potentiality. From potentiality to actuality become the final completeness of table. You need another two causes, formal cause or design, and the effort of the carpenters. See, the four things are causes of change in the world. Starting from potentiality to full actuality. So, from Plato and Aristotle come to Christianity. For example, in St. Thomas Aquinas' explanation, he utilized the concept of four causes by Aristotle, explaining the state, why we need the government, because the country like Thailand consists of people and all the objects in the country. That is the material cause, according to Thomas Aquinas. And the next stage is that you need the law govern the country. It is the formal cause. The government and the legislator has to pass the law. The law is the formal cause of the country. Who are the efficient cause of state? That is government and ruling authority. To develop the country in accordance with the law, towards its final cause, that is the ideal, the common good of all people, for the benefits of many people, of Sammis people. That is for the benefit of the common good. To arrive at the common good, that the benefit of the nation, we need to govern ปกครองแผ่นดินโดยธรรม โดยธรรม mean by law. To govern the country by law. Who govern? The government of His Majesty. So the four causes are there. This I explain in the framework of Aristotle and St. Thomas Aquinas. Why I talk about this thing in St. Thomas Aquinas? Because St. Thomas Aquinas, 1,000 years later, adopt Plato and Aristotle philosophy to explain the concept of being, the highest truth, the concept of being. What is this being? God. Properties of being, or quality of God, is considered to be truth, goodness, and beauty. When I further explain that, you will see Plato languages. According to Thomas Aquinas, truth, goodness and beauty are the same. This is very important to take note. How truth, goodness, and beauty are unified to be one and the same thing. Aquinas' answer is because they are form in the world of form presented by Plato and expanded by Aristotle. Whereas Aristotle said form are in this world, Aquinas and St. Augustine would say that they are transcendental being in the heaven. God qualities are threefold at least, are forms of truth, goodness, and beauty. The triad of truth, goodness, and beauty are developed by Christian philosophy. In St. Thomas Aquinas, I quote Thomas Aquinas from his summary of theology. These are his words. Goodness and being, that is God. Goodness and God, being, are really the same. Being means truth. True existence of God and His goodness are really the same. Differ only in idea, which is clear from the following argument. This is argument to prove that goodness and being are the same, or goodness and truth are the same. The essence of goodness consists in this, that it is desirable. Goodness is desirable. We want to achieve goodness. So goodness is what all desire. What is this goodness? We want to be good. What is good? Good is desirable. Okay. Desirable to be what? To be perfect. To be complete. Desire for perfection. Individual man is incomplete. We have desire. We have tanha. We want to be something complete. There is emptiness in our life. We want to become one with the completeness, that is the goodness, that is being. Being is the full existence of the transcendent beyond our experience. In the world of form, in Plato philosophy, and in the kingdom of God in Christianity. So everybody wants to be complete. So in Sat philosophy, exit Chong Pon Sat, man is a useless passion. Passion to be complete, to be one with being in itself. That is God. But for Chong Pon Sat, being itself is the material object like microphone, computer, table. Because table never wants to be anything. It has no mind, no consciousness. When you have mind or consciousness, you are aware of your nothingness, emptiness, and you decide to be something. In Buddhism, you want to be complete, liberated, to be full in your mind, to attain nirvana or nibbana. In Christianity, you want to be one with God. In Chong Pon Sat existentialism, you want to be being in itself. facade it can never be fulfilled. That is, it's a useless design. Just like the Buddha saying, Natti tanha samanadi. No liver, no liver is equal to design. Designs always lack want to be something complete. Whereas in Christianity, man desire to be complete when unified with God. That is truth. So this being one with God is goodness, desirability. And that being one with God means God exists. God is truth. That is what the meaning of truth there. So come to beauty. According to Aquinas, beauty, and we have seen, goodness and truth are the same. Truth is being. Being has its existence. Truth, existence, being are the same. Good, we want to be one with being. That is goodness. Now come to beauty. Beauty and goodness is a thing are identical fundamentally. For they are based upon the same thing, namely the form. So this concept form is from Plato philosophy. This is a development or adaptation of Plato philosophy into Christianity. Beauty and goodness is in a thing are the same because beauty is a form of beauty. Goodness is a form of goodness. And where is it? Where are they? Are they in the world of form according to Plato? They are in the kingdom of God. So goodness is beauty. Remember it. Because goodness is a desire to be complete. And beauty is a desire to be fulfilled by looking at beautiful objects. So when it said that goodness is placed as beauty, so goodness is beauty. I will come to Buddhism. In Buddhism, what is beauty? Sopa or sopana. Sopa, beauty, sopana, beautiful. How is the concept of beauty in Buddhism related to the concept of truth and goodness? We compare with Plato philosophy and Aquinas philosophy. I will compare to you. So before I go to the comparison, I would like to draw your attention to what the meaning of beauty in St. Thomas Aquinas philosophy. Goodness and beauty. The beautiful is the same as the good, and they differ in aspect only. For since good is what all seek, we have a passion or a desire to be complete, be one with being, capital being. That desire to be one is good. And the notion is good is that we calm the desire to be. When we become one with being, we calm the desire to be. The notion of beautiful is that which calm the desire by being seen or known, we want to satisfy our desire for the beautiful objects. We accumulate, we enjoy the beauty of the objects that is beauty is for. So the good is for mind because it drives us to be one with being. The beauty is become one with us because, with the goodness because we have a desire also to enjoy beautiful objects. According to Thomas Aquinas, there are three attributes of beauty. For anything to be beautiful, it must have quality of harmony, symmetry, or proportion. The second one is clarity. The beautiful is radiant, shine forth, and arrest the attention. And number three is integrity, completeness. Beauty exists, must exist. It is not subjective. Beauty is there in the world of form. Goodness is there in the world of form. Truth of being is there in the world of form or in the kingdom of God. So good or truth, goodness and beauty are objective realities. They are objective reality. It's not just the object of our thought. It's already there. So, summary of what we have discussed so far. Three concepts. They are interrelated. The first is true or truth. Something is instead of being true if it is in accord with reality. In accord with reality means represent the true things. The thing that is true must exist outside our knowledge, outside our mind, our thinking. Truth is objectivity. In the world of form, in the kingdom of God, or whatever they are impermanent, they are permanent, unchangeable. That is truth. In Plato, St. Augustine and St. Thomas Aquinas, triad. What is good? Good is something instead of being good, if it is fulfilling the desire for well-being. Take note of the term well-being. Well-being is the goal of all life. What is state of well-being? We want to achieve. This is good. We have desire to achieve. That is goodness. The third one is beautiful. Something is a state of being beautiful if it is well-ordered, harmonized, integrated, and radiant. The three attributes of beauty as described by St. Thomas Aquinas. So, in Plato, Aristotle, St. Thomas Aquinas, you have the thread of truth, goodness, and beauty. The three are the same. Truth means already exists as an objective reality outside our mind. Goodness is a desire to become one with truth, or in Buddhism is to live our life in accordance with ultimate reality. Beauty is the radiant figure of the Buddha. Well-ordered harmony is there. Radiant figure of the Buddha in this picture. You will see how beautiful the Buddha in this picture is. there is the halo around the Buddha. Why the Buddha has a halo, a radiant one, beautiful one? That is because the Buddha has three attributes, three virtues. It's well known that the Buddha has three virtues: Panya, Visuddhi, and Karuna. This is a triad in Buddhism. Panya or wisdom representing the Buddha enlightenment. Enlightenment is the wisdom that reveals the truth of Nibbana. So the first triad in Western philosophy is truth, reflected by the quality, the first virtue or the first qualities of the Buddha, that is Panya. Panya signifies truth. The second one, purity, Visuddhi, refer the Buddha's state of mind which is purified of all defilements. Pure mind, purity, clarity in Thomas Aquinas is purity in Buddhism. That signify beauty, beautiful mind, beautiful body, pure body and pure mind. That is beauty. Truth, beauty. What about goodness? Goodness is the third quality or virtues of the Buddha. Compassion, Karuna, Panya, Visuddhi, Karuna. Compassion is the readiness to help sentient beings to achieve their well-being. Goodness. When you attain the liberation of your mind, that is Nibbana. Your mind is purified, and your scope of wisdom is enlarged, so much that you can see all sentient beings instead of suffering, and you want to help them to get rid of suffering. And it is said that your wisdom, Panya, the Buddha, or Arahant, the perfected person, Arahant, qualities of mind. The first one is wisdom, to realize the Paramattha Dhamma or ultimate reality. So, Panya representing truth. Truth of what? Truth of Paramattha Dhamma, ultimate reality. There are four kinds of ultimate reality in Buddhism discovered by wisdom of Panya. Number one is Rupa, matter and energy. They are substances. No, they are non-substantial. Matter and energy, but they are not created by our mind. It exists outside our mind. It's reality, ultimate truth, or ultimate reality, Rupa. The second one is Citta, mind or consciousness. The third one is Cetasika, mental factors. And the fourth one is Nibbana, liberation. Nibbana is asankhata, transcendental, lokuttara. Remember, the world of form is transcendental. It's above or beyond our cognitive thinking. It is lokuttara, beyond this world. Nibbana. If Nibbana is not anything in the world, does it mean that Nibbana doesn't exist? No. Nibbana exists is a truth, is a reality. So the reality or the truth of Nibbana is as clearly as matter, mind, and mental factors. Come to the Buddhist concept of truth, goodness, and beauty. So my point is that Nibbana is transcendental, transcends our sense experience. If Nibbana is transcends our sense experience, does it mean that Nibbana doesn't exist or it exists? Take note of the Buddha words when he described the concept of Nibbana. In the sutra, Nibbana Sutta, there is that dimension, Ati Bhikkhave Ayatanang. Monks, there is that dimension where there is neither earth nor water, no fire nor wind, neither this world nor the next world, nor sun nor moon. And there I say, there is neither coming nor going, nor staying, neither passing away nor arising, unestablished and evolving without support. This is the end of suffering. This is Nibbana. When he used a negative language to say that this is not Nibbana, this is not Nibbana, does it mean that it signifies that there is no existence of Nibbana? No. He means that Nibbana exists, already there. And the Buddha speak the language, negative language, in negative sense, to signify the existence of truth Nibbana. Don't misunderstand him. Don't misunderstand the Buddha. This language in negative term like emptiness or shunyata. Shunyata of Nibbana doesn't signify that there is no Nibbana. Nibbana is there. Language is like a finger. Nibbana is like the moon. In Surankama Sutra in Mahayana, the Buddha said to Ananda, suppose someone is pointing to the moon to show it to another person. That other person guided by pointing finger should now look at the moon. But if he looks instead at the finger, the language, taking it to be the moon, not only does he fail to see the moon, but he mistaken about the finger. The moon here is Nibbana. Language, whether in negative term or positive terms, are fingers. Don't mistake the fingers with the moon. Don't mistake the language with the truth of Nibbana. That is the point. So, Nibbana is truth. Rupa, material form. Citta, consciousness. Cetasika, mental factors are truth. Ultimate reality in Buddhism. When we have ultimate reality, that is Nibbana, we have a desire, a passion to attain Nirvana. How to attain Nirvana? By good morality, good conduct, that is goodness, to follow the path to Nibbana, that is Magga. Summarize into Sila, morality, Samadhi, concentration, and Panya, wisdom. So goodness is virtue, is a path, a desire to be become one with Nibbana. So we can see here the Buddha words in Dhammapada. Why wisdom leads to cultivate goodness or compassion in our mind. How? The Buddha said, when a wise man has carefully rid himself of carelessness and climbed the high castle of wisdom, sorrowless he observed sorrowing people, like a clear-sighted man on a mountain top, looking down on the people with limited vision on the ground below. When you attain highest wisdom, realization of truth of Nibbana, just like you are on the top of the castle, looking down to the people in a congested street, traffic jam, so many problems there. You want to guide them. You want to help them to get out of the problems. So immediately, compassion that decide to help other people to achieve the goal, the Nibbana, come into your mind. Through wisdom come compassion and other virtues. So compassion and other virtues are goodness following wisdom. Wisdom representing truth, compassion and other virtue representing goodness in Buddhism. Truth leads to goodness. And beauty, what about beauty in Buddhism? There is the Buddha saying in Dhammapada, of all the fragrances, sandal, takara, blue lotus and jasmine, the fragrance of virtue is the sweetest. Sila kanto, fragrance of virtue is the sweetest. Faint is the fragrance of takara and sandal, but excellent is the fragrance of the virtuous, wafting even among the gods. So beauty comes from virtue or goodness. We want to be to attain nirvana, we have to be a good to develop a good virtues in our mind. Good virtue in our mind leads to purity of mind. That good virtue and purity are beauty in Buddhism. So this is the relation between truth of the highest goal, Nibbana. The goal draw our attention to attain nirvana, that is our well-being, that is goodness. We want to become one with the unity of the Nibbana, so that desirability is goodness. How to once we attain or when in the process of attaining nirvana, we have to develop compassion because of our wisdom, realization of truth. We realize the true meaning of life, the suffering of the people. We want to help them. To help other people, help us to become enlightened one, the Buddha. So the quality of mind of the Buddha or Arahant are beautiful. Sopana Cetasik or Silakanta, the fragrance of virtue, the fragrance of virtuous person. So in our mind, you will find beauty if our mind or consciousness consists of beautiful mental factors, Sopana Cetasika. Among 25 beautiful mental Cetasika, 19 mental factor Cetasika are universal to all beautiful minds, Sopana Citta. You will see the concept of Sopana or beautiful mental factor, Sopana Cetasika, beautiful mental factor, and beautiful mind, Sopana Citta in Buddhism. why they are beautiful, why they are sopana, because they are the quality of mind of the person who almost attain nibbana or want to attain nirvana. Even the perfected one, the arahant or the Buddha, the enlightened one, has the qualities of mind that are beautiful. This is the concept of truth, goodness, and beauty in Buddhism. Rely on the three qualities of the Buddha virtue: panya, realization or wisdom or realization of truth; visuddhi, purity of mind, that is beauty; and karuna, goodness, desire to be purity, to be purified, desire to be the enlightened person, goodness. Because of these mental factors in our mind, that is, if our mind is full of unwholesome factors like greed, hatred, and delusion, our mind is ugly. These roots of unwholesome action make our life ugly. Ugliness signified unwholesome defilements in our mind, like greed, hatred, and ignorance or delusion. Whereas the 25 wholesome mental factors like generosity, alobha, loving kindness, metta, wisdom, panya, they are good qualities of mind, beautiful mental factor, sopana, cetasika. It decorates our mind. Our mind become beautiful mind. This is the beauty in Buddhism. So now we can see that the concept of the goodness, truth, and beauty in Plato, Aristotle, Saint Thomas Aquinas, and in Buddhism. But in Buddhism they call panya, visuddhi, karuna. Panya, wisdom; visuddhi, purity, clarity or beauty; and karuna means compassion, that is goodness. So now we see the common concept of philosophical triad in Plato, Aristotle, Saint Thomas Aquinas, and even in Buddhist philosophy: truth, beauty, or truth, goodness, and beauty. Truth, goodness, and beauty. So these three concepts in the contemporary circle of philosophy, we have a separate branches of philosophy study. They are not unified. If we pay attention to truth only, a study of truth, the extent of truth, we have a branch of philosophy called ontology. They specify in studying the meaning of truth. In ethics, they have a specific study of goodness, and in aesthetic, they emphasize on beauty. So the three branches of philosophy focus on study on truth, goodness, and beauty separately, not in a unified manner, the same thing that we find in Plato up to now. Come to the contemporary reflection of the concepts of truth, goodness, and beauty. I have shown you the triad of truth, goodness, and beauty in Western philosophy and along with the Buddhist philosophy. You can see that regarding the truth, ontological study of truth, we have the theory of truth. there are the contemporary theory of truth that we like you to draw your attention to. Number one is correspondence theory of truth. Number two, pragmatic theory of truth. Number three, deflationary theory of truth. Number four, logical positivism. And number five, phenomenology. All these theories are philosophical study of truth in the contemporary philosophy. Now we see the limit of each, we can see the limit of each theories. And the point is that how you fit Buddhist philosophy into the framework of this theory of truth. This is a philosophical thinking that I want you to follow. Number one is the correspondence theory of truth. The correspondence theory of truth said that the propositions are true if and only if they correspond with the facts. This is the general acceptance by most of us. Why we say that something is true? Because it's already there, outside our mind. When we say that it's raining, we can check, we can prove that it's raining out there. So our proposition or statement representing the reality, existing reality out there. When we say that there is Nibbana in a Lokuttara level of truth, it means Nibbana is there, not inside our mind, outside the mind, beyond our thinking. That is correspondence theory of truth. The second one, pragmatic theory of truth. The notion of truth as a relation of correspondence between belief and reality is not rejected, but qualified by reference to action, future experience, etc. Pragmatic theory of truth is proposed by pragmatism. When we say that Nibbana, or the end of suffering, is goodness. How is goodness? You try to practice following the threefold education of Buddhism, Sila, Samadhi, and Panya, morality, concentration, and wisdom. And see for yourself when you practice meditation, how you feel, what experience that you get from meditation practice. If it is good experience, it's confirmed that meditation is good. This is the truth of meditation in the sense of pragmatic theory of truth. Another one is logical positivism. A statement is meaningful if and only if it can be proved true or found at least in principle by means of sense experience. The scientists nowadays following logical positivism, anything can be proved by sense experience is true in principle. Whereas the existence of God cannot be proved because it's beyond the grasp of experience, is not true. So scientific statements are in the framework of logical positivism. The Deflationary theory of truth states that truth is a concept that is easily shown to be dispensable or is no more than technically useful. When we talk about metaphysics, the existence of something beyond our experience, that metaphysical truth is true or not. Being, core being, or existence of any transcendental being cannot be taken seriously. It can be dispensable. It's not necessary because it is just a language. When we say that there is the creator, there is heaven, there is hell, the word heaven, hell, creator are nothing but language, but a words to be not necessary to believe that is true. So we don't have to answer what is life after death, because life after death is redundant word, is a framework that we created in our mind. Ludwig Wittgenstein in his work said, what is your aim in philosophy? He said, to show the fly the way out of the fly battle. The fly battle stands for the conceptual presupposition which keep us looking in the wrong direction. Instead of clarify the language, the meaning of the term, the meaning of proposition as it is used in the language, we try to understand, to answer the question of truth of the existence of being or metaphysical objects, which is meaningless, redundant, and that is deflationary theory of truth. In phenomenology, they use phenomenological method to describe phenomena as they are given to consciousness. Truth is subjectivity. We can say that Nibbana is truth. Heaven is truth. Angel is truth, because we have had experience or encounter with angels, with Nibbana. In that case, the truth of Nibbana is subjectivity. As the Buddha said, Paccattang veditapo vinyuhi. It's private experience of the wise people. Nibbana, Paccattang veditapang. Nibbana is the private experience of the wise people. So in this case, truth is subjectivity. It doesn't mean that Kierkegaard, the pioneer of existentialism, Kierkegaard doesn't reject the existence of the objective reality, but he approved also subjective reality like our private experience, Nibbana, or even our consciousness. Who can say that there is no consciousness? When I am aware of my consciousness, this is my private experience. My consciousness is truth, paramattha, ultimate reality. And my mental factor, anger, loving kindness, compassion are there. I am aware of them. They are private experience. They are paccattang veditapo, that to be aware, to be understood by me myself. This is so these are the truth of proposition in contemporary philosophy. Now we come to contemporary reflections on truth, goodness, and beauty. I rely upon the 2020 Field Paper Survey. It's a research made by American professor in New York University 2 years ago. This professor that sent questions to 1,785 English-speaking philosophers and students of philosophy in the West to ask 100 philosophical questions. What would be their response, their opinion or reflection regarding truth, goodness, and beauty and other matter? So their response or reflection accompanied by their arguments, but I have no time to present arguments. Only that I will put the same thing, put questions for reflection to you. What do you think about truth, goodness, and beauty? So first thing, whether truth is there outside your mind, or truth is just just a language, a word without much meaning. It depends on the context. So what is status of truth according to the philosophy in the West, in the contemporary world right now? They accept or lean towards correspondence theory of truth, 51.37%. 51.37%. That is majority of philosophers nowadays. Accept correspondence theory of truth mean the statement or proposition is true if it is related to the reality outside the statement. When I say that it is raining right now, it means that outside the building it's raining there. When I say that there is Nibbana, it means Nibbana really exists there. That is, it corresponds with the fact. The statement that Nibbana is there corresponds to the fact of Nibbana. So 51% of philosophers accept the correspondence theory of truth, whereas 24 or 25% of philosophers nowadays accept or lean towards deflationary theory of truth. Truth is nothing but language. Don't confuse language with metaphysical being. Nothing there, only language. So philosophy of language, analytic philosophy is influential here, and that is the second theory of truth accepted by philosophers today. The third one is epistemic. Epistemic related to the meaning of truth, related to how we verify or prove the validity of truth. How we prove it? By pragmatic approach, by sense experience of logical positivism, or the given data to consciousness. Truth is subjectivity, as in phenomenology or existentialism. That is just 1%, 10%. Accept epistemic approach to truth. So now my question is, what is the position of Buddhism regarding truth? Buddhist philosophy, as you have listened to me so far. Is Buddhism theory of truth similar to correspondence theory of truth, deflationary theory of truth, or epistemic theory of truth? Which one you prefer for Buddhist theory of truth? Next, come to well-being. Well-being is a desirable goal of life that is related to goodness, related to ethics. We now live as a good person. For what purpose? Why we have to study philosophy? Why we have to be a good student? Why and why? The answer is because we want to achieve our well-being, our goal of life, well-being, desire for well-being that drive us to work, to study, and to live our life, not to commit suicide. For what? Why do we live in such a way? The answer is either because of we are in search of happiness, that is hedonism, or we want to enjoy experience, good experience, experientialism, or we want to satisfy our desire. We live to satisfy our desire, daily life, or we have objective list of happiness, fulfillment, so many things that we want, abstract, concrete, so the list of things that make us gain well-being are there. So what is response of contemporary philosophers nowadays? You will see that philosophers or students of philosophy in the West who accept hedonism or expressionism comprise of 12% or 13%. Without explanation. With explanation, 10%. Except or lean towards desire satisfaction, 18%. Except objective list of well-being. Well-being consisting of many components: money, happiness, service to mankind, etc. Friendship. So the philosopher who lean towards or accept this position of the objective list of well-being are 53%. Other 24%. What about Buddhist position? Buddhist ethics stand for hedonism, experientialism, or desire satisfaction. Yam pit chang nalapati tampi dukkhaṃ. To desire for something and not to get that thing is suffering. It means we satisfy desire, then does it mean that we satisfy our desire? Then we are happy? If that is the case, so Buddhist ethic is accept desire satisfaction. And the third one, the majority of responding philosophers incline to objective bliss. It means they are not definite goal, but many things that that will become our well-being. We can achieve so many goals, so many things, and that become objective bliss of well-being. Normative ethics. What is the what do you accept as a normative ethics? The ontology, that is, we become a good person because we want to observe the rules. It's a rules-based ethics. To observe the precepts, 5 precepts for lay people, 227 rules for monks. Just observe the precept because they are precepts, they are rules. That is the ethics of deontology. Philosophers who believe in this is 32%. And why we are a good person? Because we are afraid of bad result. We want to achieve we do good karma because we want to achieve, to get good result. That belong to consequentialism. About 31% of philosophers nowadays accept consequentialism, and Buddhism has something similar to vipaka, that is karma vipaka, that is consequentialism. And we have even the third one, virtue ethics. We are doing good because we cultivate the sopana cetasika, beautiful mental factors like loving kindness, compassion, wisdom in our mind. So we do good because of our qualities of mind are good. That is virtue ethics. About 40% of philosophers accept this. So now we can see that in Buddhism, the ethics of Buddhism may be lean towards deontology, consequentialism, and virtue ethics altogether. What do you think? What is your reflection? my question to you. Now come to ethics, aesthetics, values. Whether beauty, we have mentioned in Aquinas, Thomas Aquinas, that there are three attributes of beauty: harmony, clarity, and integrity. These qualities are objective or subjective. Subjective means it depends on our awareness, our cognition. If we are not aware of them, they do not exist. The three attributes of beauty. So, what do you think? The beauty in Buddhism is objective or subjective. 43% of responding philosophers, or 44% of them, accept objective aesthetic values, whereas 41% accept subjective aesthetic value. What is your position? What do you think? These are the comparison that I have made through by means of reflection and comparison. Is a comparative study of philosophy today, starting from Plato, Aristotle, Thomas Aquinas, and contemporary theory of truth, and other the idea of other philosophers and students of philosophy in the Western world nowadays. Compare with Buddhist philosophy position regarding truth, goodness, and beauty. When we discuss the comparison, mean we try to find out similarity between Buddhist philosophy and Western philosophy. Similarity gives deeper insight into reality, deeper understanding, as I have expounded. And different is good for self-evaluation. What is lack in our Buddhist philosophy that we need to add, and what is there to find the validity, how to find validity in our position. So comparison help us to understand ourselves, our Buddhist philosophy. So my discussion on truth, goodness, and beauty, on comparative reflection, bring us a clear insight into truth, goodness, and beauty of Buddhism, and make us interested to find it interesting for further discussion. I don't know whether I have time to summarize in Thai or not. That depends on the moderator. I would stop here. If I have time, I will summarize in Thai.
Okay. มีคำถามค่ะท่านพระเดชพระคุณค่ะมีคำถามจากท่านเมงลี่ค่ะ Could we realize the teaching of Lord Buddha the truth พวกเราสามารถที่จะทราบได้ถึงคำสอนของพระพุทธเจ้าในเรื่องความจริงได้หรือไม่อย่างไรประมาณ
In light of my discussion, when we say that, if we want to say that the truth in Buddhism is accessible or not, so we have to first understand that the theory of truth in Buddhism is similar to correspondence theory of truth. Truth of Nibbana, truth of the transcendental, is objective truth for the Buddha and for the Buddhists. And it is not separated from our life as in Plato the word of form. It is in the grasp of our wisdom that we can realize the truth of Buddhism. So in principle, the truth of Nibbana can be attained, can be realized once we follow the path to Nirvana by means of threefold education: Sila, morality, Samadhi, concentration, and Panya, wisdom or meditation.
ค่ะค่ะในนามของคณะกรรมการผู้จัดงานสัมมนาวิชาการ ขอกราบขอบพระคุณพระเดชพระคุณที่เมตตาเสียสละเวลาในการกล่าวปาฐกถานำในงานสัมมนาวิชาการระดับชาติและนานาชาติครั้งนี้มวลเกล้ารู้สึกปลาบปลื้มเป็นอย่างยิ่งและได้รับมุมมองและได้เรียนรู้สิ่งต่างๆมากมายที่เป็นประโยชน์ต่อการดำเนินชีวิตและเป็นประโยชน์ต่อการดำรงชีวิตมวลเกล้าจะนำไปใคร่ครวญและปรับใช้ในชีวิตประจำวันต่อไปขอกราบขอบพระคุณพระเดชพระคุณอย่างยิ่งและอย่างสูงยิ่งที่ได้เมตตามากล่าวปาฐกถาในวันนี้เจ้าค่ะเรจิน่า
So today we mark this date as an event to help us all lead a healthier lifestyle. I, on behalf of committee, thank you from bottom of my heart for taking time from your busy schedule to be the keynote speaker at our seminar. Your presence and wise words helped magnify our cause in the best possible way. Our seminar was huge success because of you, most venerable. All thanks to your enlightening words that inspired so many people out there. Thank you once again. So one moment, Venerable, there is one more question from Mingle. Could I ask one more question? I think Venerable is left already. Okay. So Mingle, maybe we have next time.
Yep. Sorry for the question, and could I have more question to Master?
No, it's already closed the session, you know, because we have to allow other speaker to take my place, because the moderator has end this program. You can ask me later personally. Sorry.
Thank you. Maybe next time you can ask question in person or in the next seminar.
Yes,